Hello, everyone, and welcome to ESPN Supercard. I'm Craig Johnson. Great to have you along with us on this edition as we present some GWF matches that you have not seen before but happened in the recent past. We'll take a look at Steve Simpson takes on El Bandalero. An interesting mix of styles here. Steve Simpson from South Africa uses almost a European style going into the ring against the man who uses the lucha libre style from Mexico. Steve Simpson against El Bandalero, one of our first matches today. We'll see Conan Chris Walker against Sweet Daddy Falcone. Sweet Daddy Falcone at 312 pounds going against Chris Walker, who I think could probably lift those 312 pounds. He may not be as big as the Sweet Daddy, but as far as wrestling knowledge and wrestling talent, a pretty good matchup there. Gorgeous Terry Young goes against Wild Bill Irwin, and we will see the team of Terry Garvin and Stephen Dane as they take on a team known as the Maulers now, known as the Royal Family then. Action starts after these messages. To go against Tug Taylor, Skip Young, a very popular individual in the Global Wrestling Federation. Coming in at 240 pounds. Out of Dallas, Texas, going against a man from Clinton, Iowa, at 320 pounds, Tug Taylor. And that may be on a good day. It'll be interesting to see whether or not Tug Taylor can keep up with Skip Young, as quick as an athlete he is, but that's one way to try to slow a man down. Taylor with the early advantage. Both men have been wrestling about the same amount of time. I think Taylor just enjoys beating up people, while Young, the technical wrestler, as you see by the arm drag there. Knee drop 2 times by Skip Young, a man who held tag team championships a few years ago. Taylor, a regional heavyweight champion, having problems with a man who is just about 90 pounds lighter than he is. Young backs Taylor into the corner. No break there as he sends the big man into the corner. Give Skip some credit for that. Climbing up to the middle rope. 3 shots to the top of the head. Taylor has a hold and drops Young right down on top of the turnbuckle. Maybe a little bit beyond the paddock. Taylor with a right. One more time. Tug Taylor will send him over into the ropes, follow it up with a clothesline. The snapmare takes Skip Young down, and that knee comes down right on the forehead. Count of 1 by Rick Manning, our official. Goes to the rear chin lock. Tug Taylor, a strong competitor who set the Texas bench press record back in 1980 of 524 pounds. Young not too impressed, and I think he might have gotten a handful of the hair. Did Tug Taylor? Trying to kick out is Skip Young, but Taylor has him wrapped up pretty well. Young back on his feet again. Trying to power out of it. Seems to have the leverage, but a knee to the back will stop that as Taylor shifts over to the side headlock. Using momentum, Young takes him out in a cartwheel, followed by a clothesline by Tug Taylor. Drops the elbow. Count of 1, count of 2. But Young is able to get out. I didn't realize that Tug Taylor had any gymnastic prowess. But apparently he does, as some of the judges rated that last move from anywhere from a 4 to an 8. Taylor has Young back to the ropes. Rick Manning calling for the break, doesn't get it. Taylor with a chop. Skip Young may have had just about enough for the roughhouse tactics of Tug Taylor, but you can have all you want if a man breaks you in the eye. Right to the temple. Taylor sends him over to the ropes. Going for the backdrop of the sunset flip. He can't get the big man over. And all 320 pounds of Tug Taylor very happy about that. Not so happy about that, however, as he might have a stomachache. Following a couple of blows to the midsection. Taylor tries to pick Young up. Body slam, the power slam by Tug Taylor. Count of 1, maybe 2 by Rick Manning. But Skip Young able to get out from underneath the behemoth. Rake of the laces to the eye of Skip Young, and Young maybe coming to life a little bit here. Yes, he is. Definitely the right hook right to the belly of Tug, and kind of hard to miss there. Snapmare brings the big man over. Series of soles to the eye from Skip Young. Shot to the midsection. Turns the advantage to the Tug. I don't know exactly what he's pulled lately, but Tug Taylor may be about to try to sink Skip Young.
That's it, baby!
Claiming that's it. Tug Taylor climbs to the first rope, makes it to the middle rope, all the way up on the top. He comes down, but the splash is into an empty pool. Young climbs the rope. High skies and brings Tug down. Count of 3.
Ladies and gentlemen, Skip Young!
Steve Simpson, what a popular man he is in the Global Dome. Getting set to take on the masked man from south of the border, El Bandalero. Both men weighing in for this event at 225 pounds. Simpson out of South Africa, Bandalero out of Mexico City. That's about all we know about El Bandalero. Collar and elbow tie-up. Simpson takes Bandalero into the corner. James Beard calling for the clean break. You'll usually get one out of Steve Simpson. Excellent sportsmanship always displayed. Unless possibly forced to do something else by his opponent. Simpson backing Bandalero. Bandalero reverses. Now Simpson gains the advantage once again. Beard calls for the break. And another clean break by the South African. Steve Simpson, one of the top competitors in all the divisions of the Global Wrestling Federation. El Bandalero remains somewhat of a mystery as far as his tactics are concerned. Right there with a little bit of a shove to Steve Simpson. Both men trying to gain an advantage, and Simpson may have a pin. Count of 2, but the feet of Bandalero on the ropes. El Bandalero caught off guard, now claiming a pull of the tights. I don't think so, says Steve Simpson. Simpson, single leg takedown. Put some pressure on the knee with a toe hold. The step over toe hold puts pressure on both the ligaments of the knees and the ankle. Bandalero will try the escape. Break called for by James Beard as Bandalero reaches the rope. Steve Simpson has shown us a lot of wrestling techniques that are foreign to those of us who are used to watching North American competitors. Nice single leg drop takedown there. Now putting pressure on the leg, asking James Beard what's he say, trying to make him possibly give up, and now has put some mucho hurting on Bandalero. Tying up both of the legs. Bandalero reaching for the eyes and rakes the eyes to get the break. Now Bandalero may have 2 bad wheels. Now Bandalero tried to get the eye gouge, but it didn't quite work as Simpson gets the advantage now with a side headlock. Steve Simpson out of South Africa. Haven't seen many wrestlers out of that country in a long time. Starting to see more and more as the months go on. Bandalero sends Simpson in the ropes. Nice shoulder block by Steve. Lets Bandalero up. Apparently didn't think he had the proper advantage there. So now both start up equal. And now maybe Simpson's going to go after the mat. Bandalero takes offense to that. Simpson will take Bandalero into the corner.
Come on now, come on.
Simpson with a break. Bandalero is trying to figure out how to attack the man from South Africa. Simpson gains the advantage. Bandalero trying to go back to the eye. Raking the eyes once again. And now it takes him into the corner. Thumb to the throat. Bandalero tried the kick, but guess who caught the foot? Steve Simpson pondering what to do with El Bandalero. Spins him and says hello. El Bandalero vomito to the near side. Nice go behind into the full Nelson there. Putting pressure on the back of the neck. Bandalero says, no, I'm a long way from giving up if you know how to speak Spanish. I'm guessing that's what he's saying. I don't speak a word of Spanish other than buenos dias, maybe. Double leg scissors. Putting Bandalero into some major league pain there. And now Simpson's going to go after the mask. I think he wants everyone in the Global Dome to know exactly who this man is. Rolls him over for a count of 1. Had the leverage here. Bandalero gets out the first time and gets out 2 times there. Could get him for the count of 3, but only a count of 2 by James Beard. Simpson putting pressure all over the plate. Now shifts it into a side scissors, putting pressure on the chest, has him in a pinning predicament for a count of 1. And now has rolled it over into an arm lock. Bandalero tries to reverse. Simpson maintains the advantage, but then reverses it into the hammerlock. First time Bandalero's really had the advantage on a hold. Right back into the action. Simpson goes after Bandalero. Simpson may have him set up for the suplex and gets him down. Snap suplex by Steve Simpson. Simpson says it worked once. Let's try it again. Brings him over, and this time turns it into a slam for a count of 2. Just when you think you know what Steve Simpson's going to do, he varies the hold. Now he goes for the body slam, adds a knee to the back. Bandalero down. Simpson going to go to the higher elevations here. Steve Simpson up on the middle rope. Saying Bandalero is not quite set up the way I'd like him to be. Sets him up with a suplex, moves him a little bit farther out. Apparently, he wants this to be a long-distance travel. He goes up to the top rope, comes down right on top of El Bandalero. Count of 1, count of 2, count of 3.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner match, Steve Simpson!
Oh, we smoked those.
Big Bully Busick smokes vitamin-fortified cigars. I got vitamin A, vitamin B, vitamin C, vitamin D, K5, K7, K16, and vitamin Z.
Where do you get those?
They are imported directly from the ranks from Spain into Belgrade, Yugoslavia, imported directly by a cheap Serbian doctor.
Well, what I want to know is, did you discover these in the place known as Weirton, West Virginia, out at Powerhouse Hill? Do all the big guys smoke those?
Of course, right out of number 1 gate, Weirton Steel Company. You get a shot in the beer and you light up one of these stogies, and away you go. There's a lot of good people in Weirton, and I don't like the fact about you saying people from Weirton don't like me.
Well, the 4 or 5 phone calls that I've gotten from Weirton, I understand it's a pretty small town, although that steel mill is pretty big, say they don't like you.
It's the largest independently owned steel mill in the world, and I don't care what the mayor says, what the chief of police says. I'm Big Bully Busick, and I bully my way around.
In the Global Wrestling Federation, a lot of people giving you a lot of competition.
A ton of competition. Are you kidding? Look at the body of Chris Walker. Look at the royal family. But there's one thing. Not one of them bench press 605 pounds. What do you think about that?
And not one of them smokes a cigar in the Global Dome, which you're not supposed to do.
You better take some of that bass out of your voice when you're talking to me.
What a feeling.
Sweet Daddy Falcone, 312 pounds from 42nd Street in New York City, is about to have one of the bigger challenges of his career, I guarantee you that, as he has to take on Conan Chris Walker. Looks like the Sweet Daddy is ready, but is he ready for this? Chris Walker, 240 pounds, out of Atlanta, Georgia. Walker, popular with the ladies, popular with all the fans here at the Global Dome. Walker entering the ring, rather wary of Sweet Daddy Falcone, whose reputation apparently precedes him. Rick Manning, your official in this event. Falcone with about a 6-inch height advantage on Walker. And about a 60-pound weight advantage. Walker with a clean break. Sweet Daddy with a few words to the fans at ringside. Walker trying to use his power to gain the advantage, and finally just shoved the big man back, which just gets the dander of Sweet Daddy Falcone. Oh, now he's claiming a pull of the hair. There's a chiseled out body for you. Speaking of the man nearest to you on your screen. Hammerlock. Now reversed by Sweet Daddy. There's a handful of hair. Rick Manning suspects something. Sweet Daddy denying it. Chris Walker knows what he felt. Nobody pulls on the locks of Conan Chris Walker and usually gets away with it. Falcone gaining the advantage and once again goes to the hair. Falcone claiming he's just using his head. Yes, using a head, not the head of hair of Chris Walker. Falcone will deny that till his last day, I guarantee you of that. Collar and elbow tie-up. Falcone should have the advantage with the height advantage. Now going to the hair again. And Walker goes over the top. Sends him into the ropes. Sweet Daddy held on, but nobody home there. Walker with a drop kick. Sweet Daddy. Get out of here. Falcone claiming that Walker used some uncouth tactics. It's amazing what he sees that the announcer and the fans here at the Global Dome can't see. Back into the rope. Sweet Daddy using all of his 312 pounds. Shot to the midsection, forearm to the back of the neck. Falcone with Walker. Into the ropes, misses with a clothesline. Cross body block by Conan Chris Walker. Only good for a count of one is the big man able to scurry out. And Sweet Daddy Falcone thinking back to his football days, calling timeout. Still, to my knowledge, no timeout in professional wrestling. Falcone, a track and field champion in the state of Pennsylvania in his early high school years before moving to New York City. Apparently thinks that Walker's head is a shot put as he put the big one right into Walker, and Walker has had about enough, I do believe. Walker with the elbow right to the chest, sends Sweet Daddy down. Kind of like a javelin hitting the end of its run. Sweet Daddy sent into the rope. Walker tried to go for the backdrop. Falcone gets the leg up. The left foot into the forehead 2 times. Double axe handle to the back of the head of Chris Walker by Sweet Daddy Falcone. Snapmare. Falcone has Walker into position for an elbow drop. That could do it. 1. But Walker with enough stamina and enough strength to get out of it. The right by Walker didn't have much of an effect. Falcone clothesline sends Chris Walker down. Maybe the size advantage of Sweet Daddy Falcone a little much for Chris Walker. But Walker with a series of shots trying to come back. Walker picking up his second win. Falcone answering back to each of the blows. The chop by Chris Walker. Another chop as the 2 men trade chop. Walker into the ropes. Falcone goes for the abdominal stretch. And now picks him up and slams him down. Count of 1, count of 2, but he only had his 2 palms on the sternum. That's not much of a cover when you're talking about Conan Chris Walker. And that's using Sweet Daddy's head. Walker with the front bulldog taking him down. Into the ropes goes Sweet Daddy, and Walker shows how he does the clothesline. Walker to the middle rope, climbing towards the top. Walker perched, ready, fires all the way across the ring, takes Falcone down for the count of 3.
The winner of the match, Chris Walker.
Conan Chris Walker with the win. Back with more. £225 out of Lake Dallas, Texas. A veteran who's been around 12 years now in the sport of professional wrestling. 5 times a heavyweight champion in Texas. Well, here comes Christopher Love, along with his charge, hot body Randy Rhodes. Now, you might remember back to some action a while ago where Christopher Love tried to convince everyone that Randy Rhodes was only 227 pounds. If that man is 227 pounds, you may finish the sentence. Rhodes now finally confessing that he, I believe, Ron Ames, our ring announcer, quoted at 292 pounds. That may be closer to the truth.
You're going to get hurt real bad, honey. You get back and you're going to get hurt.
And who came up with his outfit? Well, speaking of outfits, Christopher Love the manager of champions, has managed the LPWA Tag Team Champions, but now trying to make his mark in the Global Wrestling Federation, and Brian Adias doesn't quite know what to think of Christopher Love, and for that matter, Hot Body Randy Rhodes. For such a big man, Rhodes sure does hide a lot.
Come on, let's go. Get it back. Come on. Get it back.
Christopher Love asking the official to get him back, and Adias did not take too kindly to that. Brian Adias held many tag team belts in the NWA, World Class Wrestling Association. Hot Body Rhodes has held many belts. Unfortunately, all of them you could buy at Kmart. Adias with the armbar. Rhodes grabs the top rope, just wanting to get out of the pain. Rhodes does not take pain well at all. I thought that was a easy for me to say, prerequisite to being a successful wrestler, that you can take pain and give some too. Rhodes now going to work on the left arm of Brian Adias. Adias says, hey, watch me spin the man. Rhodes down on a knee now as Adias goes to work on the left shoulder of Hot Body. Christopher Love not enjoying a moment of this action so far. Combination hammerlock and rear chinlock by Brian Adias. And picking up the chant for Brian Adias, much to the chagrin of Christopher Love. Forearm to the chest as Christopher Love currently doesn't like the fans here at the Global Dome, or would like to keep them quiet, one of the two. Brian Adias, I don't know if you could see it on your screen, but Christopher Love just lunged trying to grab the leg of Brian Adias. Roll up by Rhodes. Count of one, count of two. Randy Rhodes was too worried about the fans also. He comes a little bit too close for my taste to our broadcast position. A meeting of the minds. I'm using that term very loosely here. Brian Adias. Oh, no. Now there's a face I'm not sure that mother could love. At least my mother wouldn't, I know that. Rhodes asking the referee to get Brian Adias back away from the rope so he can make his entrance back into the ring. Rhodes asking for quiet from the fans. I don't think he's going to get it. Rhodes going to work on the left arm of Adias now. Pulling on the tendons in the elbow. Working on the shoulder, the wrist, and Adias is able to reverse it. 3 times a spin. And Rhodes says, I don't like this. Get me out of here. As he grabs the top rope again. Roll up as Adias gets a count of 1. And Rhodes better watch out for Brian Adias. Christopher Love with a confab here with Mr. Rhodes, and they seem to be hiding something. May have passed something between the two. Rhodes pleading innocence. Makes his way back into the ring and reaches into his trunk. His hand full of something there, but apparently he is giving it back to Christopher Love, or has stowed it away safely. Apparently stowed it away safely as it goes back into the trunk. And whatever it was, it went right into the forehead of Brian Adias. Rhodes with the advantage now. 292 pounds on top of Brian Adias. Rhodes sends Adias in the ropes, and Adias gets the laces right between the eyes of Randy Rhodes. 3 jabs, and Rhodes sends Adias out. Watch out for Christopher Love. Adias on the outside of the ring, Rhodes on the inside. And Rhodes awaits Adias and welcomes him back with a forearm to the back. Well, Rhodes seems like he might have gotten his badge of courage now, as Adias trying to get back into the ring, that time met by a knee lift. Adias circling the ring, trying to get some of his senses back.
Show the world, honey. Show the world.
No, I wasn't talking about those rings, Christopher. He always thinks we're talking about him. Rhodes with a few words of color commentary. Adias once again trying to get back into the ring. 2 knees and a clothesline to the back of the head that would be considered a rapid punch in boxing. And watch out for Christopher Love. Love walking around Brian Adias, and now decides to take a pose reminiscent of Gene Kelly and Singing in the Rain. While Randy Rhodes, I'm not quite sure if he's just waiting for Adias to come back in the ring. And that's a count out. It seems that Brian Adias could never get back into the ring. So the tandem of Christopher Love and Randy Rhodes works it. We'll be back.
Leather on his back.
Some say that it has been measured at 8 feet 6 inches. These 2 men are going to get right into it. Into the rope. Goes Irwin. Hip toss by Gary Young. And like I said, Gary Young may be one of those people that is not too scared of that whip.
Come here. Get in for grease.
Rick Manning checking Gary Young for grease. While Bill Irwin really wanted to talk there. Irwin with a side headlock. As far as size is concerned, Irwin in at 6'2", 260 pounds. Gary Young, 6'3", 257. Even matchup there. Irwin with a side headlock, having the advantage. Young is able to push him off. Ready for a backdrop. No, the leak frog by Irwin, but Irwin wasn't ready for that clothesline. Young with the arm drag.
What's the hair?
Gorgeous Gary Young, who passed up 3 college football Division I scholarships to go into professional wrestling right out of high school. Was a track and field star down in Houston, Texas. Wild Bill Irwin, as I mentioned on a show or two before, a letterman in 5 different sports. Irwin misses with the elbow and the floating mule kick. Not many prettier moves, or for that matter, devastating moves than that kick by Wild Bill Irwin. And Gary Young feeling the full impact of that. Irwin challenging Young now that he's down on the ring apron. Irwin has him ready for the suplex and brings him in. Pain into the lower back of gorgeous Gary Young. Those big size 14 boots of Bill Irwin doing their job there. Irwin, forearm to the side of the neck. Back into the ropes. Young springs off twice and gets the clothesline. Now the advantage shifts possibly to gorgeous Gary Young, as Irwin felt that both on the front of his neck and the back of his head. Irwin able to get to his feet first and putting those cowboy boots to work. Now, from what I understand, he did have those cleared by the competition committee as far as legal wrestling attire. Side suplex executed by Bill Irwin. Knee drop. Count of 1, count of 2. Irwin, a little too cocky there. Thought he had the victory, didn't go for the cover, went for the showmanship instead. He might have to pay for it as Gary Young coming back here. 4 blows to the midsection. Irwin will send Young into the ropes. That one's good for 3 points in a lot of stadiums I know of. Irwin going for the double axe handle instead. Gets a shot to the midsection from Gary Young 2 times now. Young winding it up. Into the corner, Irwin almost out over the top. Once he gets back in, he's greeted by a clothesline, a knee, and a count of 2 by Rick Manning. Gorgeous Gary Young. High backdrop. Elbow. Right on target. Count of 1. That's 2. Gotta somehow grapevine those legs, though, if you're going to get a cover on a big man like Irwin. For the backdrop, it looked like Irwin was going to go for a neck breaker. Instead, pulled him down like a bulldog. Irwin, the Young into the rope. Side suplex, almost turned into a backbreaker. As a matter of fact, the boot of Bill Irwin caught the back of the neck of Gary Young. Irwin into the corner, gets the whip out. It a couple times, gets warned by Rick Manning. Irwin loses grip on the whip. Manning taking care of it, and over the top rope goes Wild Bill Irwin. Remember, over the top, not a disqualification.
Hello, I'm Hulk Hogan, and I've just finished my newest film, where you're going to see a brand new me.
How do you know which ones are the right ones?
You have to squeeze it a bit.
I think you'll like this kinder,
Shut up.
gentler Hulkster. I mean, we all have to move on, don't we?
Suburban Commando.
A royal family, and we know Jack Victory from being one... Oh, excuse me, it's Jacko now. I understand that you have a little problem with the Americans.
Get it right. You know, it's time in global wrestling to wake up and respect the royal family. You know, there's times when you get in that ring and you just say, hey, it's time to get down, it's time to get mean, it's time to get nasty. Rip Morgan is one of the nastiest men around. You know, we're just not a good bloody tag team, but we're hell of a rugby players and anything that goes with sports. Because today, global wrestling is looking at the best wrestlers here. And that's exactly what we're here for. To exterminate, to walk over, and to treat people like they're nothing. Because that's exactly what they are, Craig Johnson. Nothing!
The royal family, watch out.
Rings in. Stephen Day. Wait a minute. Royal family calling for some attention of some kind. Where in the world did they come up with that? Some sort of... I agree with Terry Garvin there. Garvin getting set to lock up with Rip Morgan. Morgan pushing Garvin off. Terry Garvin, quoted in a recent wrestling publication, is saying he won't back down from anyone. He may have gotten pushed down there, but you can see in the eyes of Terry Garvin, he's not going to back down from Rip Morgan. Morgan upset at the chance of go, Terry, go. Garvin charges in. Morgan comes down. Garvin out of the way. Drop kick by Terry Garvin once, twice. Sends Morgan back into the corner, and Morgan, I don't know what to think of this character. Morgan and Victory, who figure that beating up on a couple of guys is as good as a victory. They really don't care much about the records. Worry more about the records of people being carried out of the building. Garvin able to get the leverage, and now goes to work on the left arm of Morgan. Will spin it over. Morgan with a shot to the throat, ending the barrage by Garvin. Tag in to Jacko Victory. Victory into the wide open Garvin. Now that right. Coming around into the turn. Oh my. I've seen many wrestlers thrown into a turnbuckle, but very few with the force that Victory just sent Garvin into that turnbuckle. Suplex picks him up and brings him down. The one thing that Victory and Morgan have in common, they both have collegiate rugby background. Garvin, who played some football tags into Dane. And Stephen Dane getting the best of Jacko Victory until a rake of the eye stops that. Victory misses with a clothesline. Dane comes up, gets the high, and pulls him down. The leg scissors pulls Victory over. Now into the corner, has him ready for a monkey flip, but comes down hard thanks to the clothesline of Rip Morgan. Through the ropes goes Stephen Dane. Watch out for Rip Morgan. Morgan gets a hold of Dane and brings him down. Rip Morgan. I don't think his elevator goes anywhere near the top. Dane making his way back in the ring, but a boot by Morgan will stop that. Victory tries to keep him from coming back in. Now a double team effort. Wide open is Stephen Dane as Morgan lays in the left hand. Morgan, but no effect. He pulled the hairs out of his beard, and it had no effect on Morgan. Morgan with a body slam. Goes up, comes down, leg drop right across the sternum. Double axe handle to the upper back. Calls for a boot and gets it. Tag into Jacko victory. Dane trying to come back, but the royal family will use just about every royal trick in the book. Picks him up, power slam. Count of two. Looked like Jacko Victory was trying to spike him like a rugby ball. Away from the referee, Morgan going to work on Stephen Dane. Now the double team. Garvin getting quite upset. He's been in the position of Stephen Dane against the royal family and understands how these guys can double team and double team again. Rake in the eye still has no effect on Rip Morgan. Elbow into the chest of Stephen Dane.
Come here, referee, come here.
Two tough guys, the royal family. Dane into the corner, but gets out of the way. Morgan missed with a shot, and now Dane gets the tag to Garvin. Garvin ready to take on both members of the royal family. Hello. Garvin on Morgan. Dane on Victory. All four men in the ring. The royal family collides, but no. Oh, my. No effect at all. Dane is dispensed. Victory and Morgan with a double elbow. Garvin in the middle of the ring. Doubles. No! Right down onto the stomach. Count of one, count of two, three.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winners of the match.